INEOS planning to keep Erik ten Hag as the manager for next season. Rafael Varane in advanced talks over summer move to Saudi Arabia. More updates on the Dewsbury Hall to Manchester United transfer story, and a massive blow in United's pursuit of Jarrad Brathwaite. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on the show this evening. But before we jump into that, please smash a like on today's video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. Let's start the show off by talking about Jarrad Brathwaite. Obviously a player that I really like, somebody who I think is going to become one of the best centre-backs in world football in the next 10 years. 21 years of age, currently playing his football for Everton, already been called up by England. We might even see him in the squad for the game tonight against Brazil, which will be interesting. I'll probably watch that game. But the headline this evening is that apparently Real Madrid have joined the race to sign Jarrad Brathwaite this summer. I mean, being honest, guys, when Real Madrid come knocking, it's going to be very difficult to, for him to turn that down. Obviously, Jude Bellingham's there. Jude Bellingham is doing incredibly. Kylian Mbappe looks like he's going to move there. The story is this: Real Madrid have a genuine interest in signing Jarrad Brathwaite this summer and have an advantage over Manchester United in getting his signature. Let's be real. Real Madrid are leaps years ahead of us at the moment. And if Real Madrid come knocking, I'm pretty sure he'll go there. But what I will say is this: there are plenty of options available in the centre-back market at the moment. Obviously, John-Claire Todibo is an obvious option. Scalvini from Atalanta is another one. There are plenty of players available in those positions, so I'm not too worried. Obviously, it would be disappointing if he goes to Real Madrid, but you can't really blame him, being honest. Let me know what you think below, but yeah. Moving on from that one, though, let's talk a bit about Bruno Fernandez. And I actually think this story is quite positive. Some people have seen it as a negative and have been concerned, but I'm quite happy about it. So Bruno Fernandez has officially left the Portuguese national team camp and come back to Manchester. Now, the reason for this is he's supposedly spoken to Roberto Martinez, the Portugal manager, and has asked to have a bit of time off. He plays so much football, Bruno Fernandez. I think he's missed one game for United in his career here. He's never injured. He played last night for Portugal in their 5-2 victory over Sweden. And I'm so happy he's come back, and he's now going to be rested in full until the game against Brentford next Saturday. So that's a massive positive, because Bruno, some of you like him, some of you dislike him. Yeah, I mean, let's not get into all that now. I think for the rest of this season, he is one of the key players. Whether he needs to be sold in the summer is another question for another day. But Bruno Fernandez will be back in Manchester and resting ahead of the Brentford game. Let's move over to Rafael Varane then, shall we? Now, this story has just broke in the last 10 or so minutes. This has come from Ben Jacobs, and he is reporting that Al Ittihad are advanced in terms of pitching a contract proposal to Rafael Varane, who is out of contract in the summer. Now, there is some talks that apparently Manchester United are offering him a cut-priced contract, and it would be kind of like he gets paid based on how many games he plays. I think for me personally, Varane going to Saudi makes a lot of sense, but it all depends, doesn't it? It depends where his aspirations lie. Obviously, he retired from international football a little while ago. Moving to Saudi financially is incredible. I don't think you pay any tax in Saudi. He's probably going to earn £500,000-600,000 a week. He'll be probably one of the highest paid players in the Al Ittihad squad. If you look at some of the players they've got, they've got some really, really good players. They've got Fabinho, Karim Benzema, Kante, a couple of other people as well. So it would be a really, really big move for him financially. But from a footballing perspective, you are effectively going to a retirement home, aren't you? You're going somewhere where you'll be paid handsomely, but the league... I mean, I say that. Some people could even argue that the league's more competitive than the French league now. But that's, again, another conversation for another day. Now, what I want to ask you guys is, would you keep Rafael Varane beyond this season? Would you give him a new contract? Or do you think the best case here is just to let him go? Obviously, his contract expires in June. So he's only got about 2 months left of his deal, 2 or 3 months. Would you keep him? At the moment, he's our best centre-back. Obviously, Martinez has been injured all season. I still think he's our best centre-back. But it's just whether Man United want to entertain giving him the money that he's currently on. He's on 350k a week at the moment, which for somebody who is 31 in next month, he'll be 31. Do they really want to sign him on another 2-year or 3-year deal on 350k a week when we're probably not going to even be in the Champions League. I think that's a mistake. So unless he's going to, take 100 to 150k a week, then I would move him on, Obviously, we won't get a transfer fee for him, but we will be saving 350k a week, which is about 20 million per season in wages. So, yeah, when you put that back into the budget, 20 million pounds in wages, that is a lot of money for Manchester United at the moment because we are in a difficult financial position. Keeping on the topics of centre-backs, we've just talked about Raphael Varane potentially going out, but there is more news on Juventus centre-back Bremer. And this is coming out from Ben Jacobs again. So he has said that Juventus centre-back Bremer is a player that has been discussed internally by the old regime at Manchester United. It says the club are more likely to look for a younger centre-back under the age of 26. We said about this on the show this morning, didn't we? We said that as good a player as Bremer is, I don't think he's the best option out there. And Juventus apparently wants 60 million for him. 60 million pounds for somebody who's 28, nearly 29. It doesn't make any sense to me. When you've got people like Jean-Claude Todibo, Brathwaite, the Scalvini guy who's only 20 at Atalanta, buying Bremer as somebody for the next 2 or 3 years. He's only 2 years younger than Varane, and we're willing to let Varane go for nothing. So, why would we do that? Why would we let Varane leave for nothing and then go and sign someone 2 years younger who's arguably not even as good as Varane and pay Juventus 60 million? And he'll probably still want ridiculous wages as well. So I'm quite glad that Ben Jacobs has kind of verified my suspicions that really this is the kind of deal that the Glazers would have done before Jim Ratcliffe came in. It's a bigger name player. It's more of an obvious player to get. It's not a very, creative signing, and I'm glad that we're not going to do it. But maybe you disagree. Maybe you think Bremer's the missing piece of the puzzle. Obviously, let me know what you guys think below. But for me, I'm happy that we're not going to go for him. Right, let's move over to the manager then, because this is obviously the hot topic at the moment. This is one that's everybody's got an opinion on. And Melissa Reddy from Sky Sports, a journalist I really like, has been reporting on this evening, and she is reporting that Manchester United say that no decision has been made over over a managerial change. It says the club are now planning for next season with Erik ten Hag, and this is 100% the right decision for me. I think Erik ten Hag deserves another season. He deserves a chance where I would say all of his signings are available. If you look at the team this season, 95% of the people who've started the games have been signings from Ole or signings from Mourinho. Most of his signings who are key to his style of play have been injured. The Martinez's, Malasias, the Mason Mounts, the list goes on. Casemiro was one of his signings. Højlund's one of his signings. And these players have been injured for large parts of the season. Obviously, Anthony is not very good. That's fair to say. But, he has obviously had all these off-the-field allegations, which I think have been affecting his playing capabilities and all the rest of it. And I think, he does deserve, one more season, Erik ten Hag, in my opinion. I think it would make zero sense to sack him now. Because even if you look at it, even if you disagree with me from a footballing perspective, which is fine, if you look at it from a financial perspective, right, reportedly to sack Erik ten Hag now, plus you have to sack all of his backroom staff, you have to sack his assistant manager, Steve McLaren, apparently it will cost in excess of £10 million. Now, what would you rather do? Get rid of Erik ten Hag now, pay £10 million plus. That probably then means that all of the signings he's made are probably going to be useless as well. And then who would you go and get? Gareth Southgate. If you go and sign Gareth Southgate, he's in contract with England, so you'd have to pay England money to get him out of the contract. So not only would you pay to get rid of Erik ten Hag, but you then have to pay to bring Gareth Southgate in. So it could be this. It could be option 1, you keep Erik ten Hag. Option 2, you sack Erik ten Hag and have to pay out 10 million to him in compensation, probably about 10 million to England in compensation, and you end up with Gareth Southgate. £20 million down the drain, and you've now got Southgate as the manager. It doesn't make any sense. This summer, from what I'm hearing, is very much one where we're going to have to move players out of the club, sell them, reduce wages. And losing 20 million and getting rid of Erik ten Hag is just stupid, in my opinion. So for me, I'd give him until the end of next season. Obviously, he's got 1 year left of his current deal. See how he does next season and then judge him at the end of that. And if it doesn't work, then maybe you look to move him on. Just remind yourselves of this, right? Arteta's been at Arsenal for 6 years now. He's won 1 trophy. Erik ten Hag's been at Manchester United for 18 months. He's won 1 trophy. Now, obviously, Arsenal are playing a good style of football now, but it took them ages. It didn't happen overnight. It really, really didn't. It didn't happen with Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool overnight. I think their first 2 seasons, they finished 8th and 6th. So just remind yourselves of that. And we are so far behind the rest that it is going to take time and patience. But of course, let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me on the show this evening. Apologies to anybody who tried to watch earlier. I forgot to put the sound on, which is embarrassing, so I had to record it again. But yeah, have a great evening, everybody. If you have enjoyed tonight's video, please do leave a like, comment, subscribe. It doesn't cost you any money. Get involved. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.